Good morning. Today we are presenting our consultancy style briefing on value chain fragility and resilience at Jaspri, the world's largest kiwi fruit marketer. Jaspri coordinates and urges to market supply chains spanning growers, pack houses, logistics providers, and global distributors. In the 2024 and 2025 season, Jaspri sold approximately 220 million trays globally, generating over 5 New Zealand dollar million in operating revenue. Importantly, Jaspri value creation model is based on coordination rather than vertical integration. This means its commercial success depends on delivering exceptional quality, reliability, and timing across the entire supply chain. When supply performance breaks down, impacts cascade through the system, reducing grower returns, eroding margins, and creating brand risk. As a result, supply chain fragility must be treated as a CEO level strategy risk rather than a purely operational issue. Organizational context. Jaspri operates at the intersection of agriculture, international logistics, and premium brand management. Its coordination based model is both a competitive advantage and a structural vulnerability. Jaspri does not own orchards or pack houses. Instead, it aligns thousands of independent stakeholders across regions, all operating within narrow harvest and shipping windows. This means overall performance depends on synchronization. A failure in one node, labor availability, climate conditions, shipping reliability, or biosecurity, quickly propagates across the supply chain. Unlike vertically integrated firms, Jaspri cannot easily absorb shocks internally. This amplifies exposure and makes supply chain resilience fundamental to the sustainability of its business model. Defined business problem. The core problem identified is systematic supply chain fragility. Vulnerabilities are not isolated but occur across multiple interconnected stages of the supply chain. Seasonal labor shortages, constant harvest and packhouse throughput, climate volatility reduces predictability and planning accuracy, logistic congestion extend market exposure, while biosecurity threats represent low probability but high impact risk. These risks interact and amplify each other. For example, labor delays compress processing windows, increasing quality pressure and exposing logistics and shortage vulnerabilities downstream. The key insight is that single issue solutions are insufficient. Just supply chain behaves as an integrated system and therefore requires system level strategy responses rather than single operational fixes.
So let's discuss why this problem is critical. Jespri is operating at record scale and complexity. As volumes have grown, the supply chain has become far less tolerant of disruptions. The world has changed and we are operating in post-pandemic world where external volatility is like normal thing. We are seeing rise in climate and the weather is being unpredictable. It's very difficult to find labors and shipping of the goods isn't reliable as it used to be. So it's affecting the global supply chain. Now moving on to the next slide. Supply chain fragility directly undermines CISPRI core strategic objectives. First, it hits the grower's bank account. Supply chain disruption directly impacts stability in growers' returns and annual payout, which affect the relationship between the GSP and the farmers. Second, it hits the brand name. GSP sells premium product and premium price. If there is no good quality in the fruit, the brand name will be affected. Third is the future. If there is problem in supply chain, GSP won't be the market leaders anymore and their competitors will leave them behind. So these issues cannot be fixed working harder in orchard or warehouse. This problem needs the attention of the board members and GSP CEO. Now moving on to the next slide. So what happens if GSP keep doing the things same old way? GSP will start seeing leaks on their profit. Last season, GSP kiwi fruit wasn't good enough for the stores. This claim rose around 3.8%. This might sound like small numbers, but when you are selling billions of dollars of fruit, 3.8% is massive amount of money. If JSP don't act, the consequences are quality issues in the fruit, increased wastage of fruits, higher logistic and storage cost, bad relationship with the stakeholders, and the damage in the brand reputation. So, to tackle this, a supply chain resilience framework was selected over traditional tools such as pestle analysis or static value chain mapping. We choose supply chain resilience framework because it allows us to capture how disruption propagates through the system and how different parts of our chain depend on one another. The framework examines four dimensions: readiness, response, recovery, and adaptation. Together, this dimension assess both short-term shock absorption and long-term structural learning. Now, moving on to the next slide, the research methodology. The study adopted a qualitative secondary research design. The data sources were GSP annual reports and industry performance publication, government, agricultural, and trade sector outlooks, international logistics and labor market data sets, peer-reviewed supply chain resilience literature. So we didn't just trust one source, we compared them all, a process called triangulation to make sure the story they told was the same. This process allowed raw industry data to be converted into decision-relevant insights suitable for executive-level strategic planning while remaining transparent about data limitation.
The first key finding is that Jesperi's supply chain risks are not isolated problems, they are systemic and interconnected. Our analysis shows that labor shortages, climate volatility, and logistics constraints do not operate independently. Instead, they reinforce one another. When labor shortages slow harvesting or packhouse throughput, fruit remains in the system longer, increasing pressure on storage, shipping schedules, and quality management. Climate variability further compounds this by making supply volumes and timing less predictable. The key insights is that single issue fixes will not deliver lasting resilience. Jasperi's supply chain functions as an integrated system, meaning weaknesses in one area cascade across others. System level solutions are therefore essential. The other key finding identifies seasonal labor as a structural dependency rather than a short term operational issue. Jesperi's harvest and post-harvest performance relies heavily on seasonal labor, which is externally constrained by the recognized seasonal employer scheme. This creates a hard capacity limit during peak periods. Labor shortages delay harvesting, compress packhouse processing, and increasing quality, timing, and cost pressures simultaneously. These shortages compromise Jesperi's ability to maintain premium quality while meeting global delivery commitments, making labor a strategic vulnerability. Then is the logistics and time to market risk. This finding highlights the extended exposure created by logistics disruptions. Green kiwi fruit can take approximately 4 months to fully exit overseas markets. When shipping delays occur, fruit is held longer than optimal, increasing storage time and quality degradation. Unlike short cycle products, logistics disruptions in kiwi fruit generate prolonged losses through higher claims and wastage. This significantly magnifies the cost of delays and underscores the importance of logistics resilience. High value at risk. Jeffrey generates over $3.6 billion in export income annually, with value concentrated in short premium selling windows. A seemingly modest 1% increase in waste or claims equates to tens of millions of dollars in losses. When brand reputation, premium pricing, and grower returns are considered, the true cost is far greater. Resilience investment should be viewed as premium value protection. The strategic question is not whether Jesperi can afford resilience investment, but whether it can afford repeated failure. Biosecurity tail risk. Biosecurity represents a low probability but high impact risk. The PSA outbreak demonstrated, however, biosecurity failures can permanently alter industry economics with losses exceeding $1 billion over time. Unlike operational disruptions, biosecurity events can reshape long term viability. Effective resilience requires prevention, surveillance, and rapid response capability embedded across the system.
Yeah, coming to judgment and validation, we checked our findings using trusted research on supply chains, agribusiness, and perishable goods. We compared Jespris's situation with other industries that face similar risk like export timing and logistic pressure also. Because we didn't have full access to the internal data, we used public industry reports such as NZKGA publications and few others. So even with this limited data, the results showed clear and consistent patterns, giving a strong confidence in the recommendations. Coming to the project scope, time, and constraints, this project was done within a short academic timeline. So the major focus is on the big picture insights, not detailed modeling. So we didn't have because we didn't have full access to Jespris's internal operation or finances, so we relied mainly on public sources only. Our aim was to provide practical high level strategies that Jespri could realistically consider. More detailed areas like testing, return on investment analysis, and cost modeling. These are the few important next steps beyond the current scope. So, coming to the emerging strategic options from the analysis, four key strategic options came out. So, the first one is labor resilience, planning the workforce using more mechanization and improving support for harvest capacity. Coming to logistic diversification, having backup routes and extra capacity to keep markets open during disruptions. Coming to supply chain visibility, better share data and forecasting to improve coordination and to get early warnings. Coming to climate and biosecurity adaptation, stronger monitoring, flexible production, and quick response systems. These options like work better together as a combined resilience plan, not like a separate actions. Coming to the next slide, trade-off and risk. This slide mainly shows strategic decisions when companies improve labor resilience, cost increases, but workforce risk decreases. And coming to the digital visibility also, it improves the visibility, but they also create data and coordination challenges. Logistic backup can reduce risk, but it needs an extra investment. So coming to climate adoption, it takes some time and money, but it helps long-term stability. So there is no perfect solution for this. So for this, companies must balance risk and cost carefully. So the current likely direction based on the analysis, the best direction is an integrated resilience strategy. This means using multiple solutions together, not just one. First set basic resilience standard across the supply chain, then improve visibility from start to end. Then thirdly, invest in backup options only where the risk is high. This approach reduces risk while controlling costs. So what comes next? The final step. This slide explains the measures, losses and delays in the supply chain. Secondly, test strategies in a high risk market. And the third thing is better evaluate financial impact using an return on investment framework. Finally, create a clear roadmap for implementation. This helps companies move from planning to action. Overall, this strategy helps organizations become more resilient, efficient, and competitive. So we would like to thank you for listening to our presentation.